Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied!
Time! Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right, 475, welcome to the show. And I am getting right to it. Not going to waste your time, not going to waste my time, because as I'm speaking, it's 12:25 past midnight, entering Sunday, February 5th, a couple hours after the Knicks just took on a loss. So I usually record these episodes the day or night after a game, and then I'll publish it that same day because it's always late here on the East Coast after the Knicks play, and I'm usually tired. Sometimes I've got class or work in the morning, depending on when, and I don't feel like setting everything up at night and jotting down the notes. And then by the time I finish recording and editing and all that stuff, it's like it'll be like 3-4 in the morning. So I usually don't do that the night of a show and record, but I am tonight. Just because this was the first game of a back-to-back, and so I don't want this to have an extremely short shelf life, because if I were to go and stick with my usual routine and record this game tomorrow, the next game would be happening in just like 3-4 hours, because tomorrow it's like a 5 or 6 p.m. game. It's a back-to-back, so I want to get this one out as quick as I can, or as soon as I can, but it will be a quick one. Definitely running through some quick hitters here, and that'll be that. It's going to be like a 15-minute episode, give or take a few minutes, all depending on how long I ramble, but let's talk about it. So the Knicks, they came into this one coming off a big-time victory over Miami. To avoid going 3 games behind them in the standings, and instead just 1. But tonight was the polar opposite. It was a very bad, very unaffordable loss to the Clippers. Given that Philly is in town tomorrow, I hate matching up against them, and they're going to make this a whole lot more difficult for the Knicks in the standings. So as I speak, we are 1.5 now off that all-important number 6 spot, and that could very much turn into a worse number tomorrow, depending on what Miami does and what we do against Philly. But tonight was a huge overtime loss, huge. At Madison Square Garden, the Knicks lose 134-128 to the irrelevant Clippers, who you just had to take advantage of because you're not going to get too many breaks in the schedule coming up. But the Knicks lost, and the story of the game, I guess, comes down to a few things. Timely rebounding, taking care of the ball, or not getting out on time to contest open jump shooters, and my personal favorite, as we've spoken about time and time again, stars being stars. So let's talk about it real quick. We're not going to summarize the game. If you watched it, you watched it, whatever. But the first thing, the Knicks did a terrible job taking care of the ball late tonight. I do not care that they only turned it over 10 times overall, because it's about when they did. After having 0 turnovers in the fourth quarter, the Knicks went out and coughed it up 4 different times in the 5-minute overtime period. At the top of the period, you had Jalen Brunson. Right away, he loses it in traffic when he gets stripped by Kawhi. Hartenstein makes a bad pass a few minutes later with the Knicks already down 3 points. He's under the rim. He throws it right into Kawhi's big-ass hands. And then Randall, with less than 2 minutes to play in overtime, and the Knicks down 6 already, with one of the most low IQ turnovers you can have, basically executing a dump-off pass to Nick Batum as if he were the guy on his team. Right into the kid's hands. And happy French Heritage Night to him. And we'll get to that. And then, of course, the loose ball with RJ. But you just can't have that happen down the stretch. You can't have that happen. They came into the overtime period with no energy, just completely flat. And I didn't have the energy either at that point, because I guess that'll lead to our next point. The defense, all night long, okay? All night long, the defense just refusing to close out quick enough on the perimeter. The Knicks actually shot an electric and very uncharacteristic 18 of 40, 45% from 3 tonight. But it was basically neutralized because they could not defend the arc themselves. The Clippers ended up going 16 out of 37. That's 43%. This was mainly in the first half. In the first quarter, it was insane. Nobody was getting out and contesting in time. Nobody. The second quarter, not as bad, but keyword being as, because the Knicks still let up plenty of open looks, and they went into halftime allowing 12 triples overall. On the first three-pointer of the night, you had Grimes going under the screen and being late to contest Paul George on the outside. And that wasn't the only instance where Grimes would get caught on a screen or go underneath one for whatever reason. Brunson on the very next three for LA kind of takes a stunt step towards George on the side. So he's late recovering out on Terrence Mann in the corner. Alright, I thought we fucking lost the, This happens at least once a night, man, where I gotta fucking pause the podcast because I think it's gonna crash. Sometimes it'll, because my tablet, I use a tablet, which is probably not a good idea for a video podcast that uses a lot of software, but fucking sometimes it'll, if it's not charged all the way, it'll flash and it looks like it's about to crash. So it scared the shit out of me, and I didn't want to have to start recording again. But anyways, just getting beat on the arc. Randall getting lackadaisical on Morris. RJ with some horrendous defense tonight, overhelping in the paint to leave his man open weak side. Kawhi, we saw that in the first. Deuce McBride even tonight a few times. Hartenstein on Batum a number of times. And, of course, with that, the three-point defense being the theme of the night, how fitting was it that that's the reason this game went into overtime, with Nick Batum knocking down a three-point shot on the right side wing to tie the game at the buzzer. The Knicks did a nice job rotating there on the play, but Hartenstein, as good as he's been playing and he's trying out there, is still very, very, very unathletic, and he's a tad late contesting and getting out. But he was all the way on the other side of the court. It's just he's slow, man. And that right there is why, despite his ups and downs, I will always personally prefer watching Jericho Sims. I like the athletic big much more than I like the bulky big all day. Jericho's a guy who has the quickness and athleticism to get out and guard the perimeter. And of course, without Mitchell Robinson, it's tough, but I'm not going to blame Thibodeau, because again, Hartenstein has been good lately. Sims has not. But Hartenstein he's as slow as a pig, man. And I just wish it was more of a, 50-50 even I'll take with Hartenstein and Sims. Like, I'll take his struggles, man. I like Sims a lot better. I'm never going to be the biggest fan of Hartenstein. I know he's played better lately, but he's just, I don't like slower bigs who can't move well laterally and can't defend in space and, can't really close out as quick on the three-point line. And I know some of this is scheme. We say this a lot, but they didn't execute it well tonight. I didn't love the energy. The miscommunication, like they got lucky with that one 3-point ball late where it was Randall and I forget somebody else who miscommunicated on a rotation, and somebody was left wide open at the top of the key for a 3-pointer. Fortunately, it missed. The Knicks got the board, but just bad, awful, terrible all around at the 3-point line defending. And just, you got to have more zip, and that sense of urgency needs to be there, not just late in the game, but you need to have that from the get-go. So I thought that was a big issue. And if we go back to that last play, of course, it's the timely rebounds that we always seem to miss. I think the overall rebounding numbers tonight, 46-46. I don't care. Because, again, it's the ones that are at the end of a game that matter most to me. The Knicks could not. They never seem to get the ones that matter most. They never, ever do. They make this big, huge comeback in the fourth quarter. They're about to win. I, a fool, let myself start thinking about how big a win this was going to be. I should know better. But the second I do think about it, of course, with less than 10 seconds left, the Clippers, with a chance to tie the game and send it to OT, do it. Because the Knicks allow them to get a big-time offensive rebound for that second opportunity. Right? Paul George misses the 3 up top. You've got 4 Knicks around the basket. RJ is right there. He jumps for it. Kawhi ends up tipping it. He tips it out to Zubac, and that's when the ball swings around to Batum, and, we know the rest. You got to secure those rebounds. That's it. There's no other way to put it, period. It's as simple as that. There's no it's simple. Got to secure those rebounds, and that's one that you're thinking maybe Mitchell Robinson also affects. And then, yes, just watching this game, it sucks once again seeing how smooth and how easy it is for guys like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to get their baskets, right? Those two can get their buckets. They combined for 65 points, 53% shooting, and 6 of 12 from 3. And the Knicks, Brunson and Randall, they did their thing together, mainly with Brunson. But when you watch those guys, it's just so silky smooth and easy for them. Just like it was for Kyrie to work off the dribble with ease. Just like it was for LeBron to get through traffic and get to the hoop with ease. And probably just like it's going to be for Harden and Embiid to work the pick and roll tomorrow night. Meanwhile, we need Brunson to bust his ass, get physical, get abused in the paint, to take hits, and we need Randall to either be electric from 3, which he's not always, and to have that super aggressive bruiser mentality where he's getting hit around in the restricted area, going up for offensive boards, tip-ins, trying to draw fouls, and it's always, grit and grind, which you love, but it would be nice to have that superstar who could just get a bucket in his sleep. And we see it happen way too often against the Knicks, and it's never on our side, man. It must be nice, and RJ Barrett, it'd be nice if he was consistent, because he's been absolutely terrible. He absolutely sucks lately. 14 points, 6 of 23 shooting. Everybody was angry at Tibbs for benching him the other night against the Lakers when he was flat on both sides of the ball. And I mean, he plays tonight, 43 minutes, and now they're mad at him for playing. Like, you guys got to pick a side. He was pathetic on both ends. He was gross, and we get too many of these performances from RJ. Too many. It's year 4. Year 4 is what I said before he got cut off there. That's it. You know, I'm ready for this mediocre volume scorer to be off the team. The second a superstar becomes available, he's part of that package. And you know, I'm not talking about getting Kyrie. You know, the awards tonight, let's hand one out to Brunson.
Bing bang.
He was great. You know, he was excellent. 41 points tonight for Jalen Brunson. 5 rebounds, 7 assists, just 1 turnover. Shoots 14 out of 19. 5 of 7 on his threes, 8 of 10 at the foul line. He had it going all night, but the fourth quarter he came through so huge with a perfect 3 for 3, 3 dimes as well. You get a 3-pointer at the top of the period in the corner, but the ISO play up top later on. The Knicks were down 4 points with less than a minute 30 remaining. Brunson's he ISOs onto George, but the Clippers switch. So he's got Terrence Mann on him, and he takes him to the rack with ease. He later blows right by Terrence Mann in another ISO set with 20 seconds left. Knicks are up 1. He puts them up 3 with a floater. And the passing, a nice bouncer to RJ for a floater. He finds a cutting Hartenstein off a drive. Then a kick-out play to Grimes, who's spotting up weak side. That was the one to Grimes that put the Knicks up for the first time on the night. 50 seconds left. The Garden erupts. And, you know, great. I loved this performance. He was clutch as always. And then we go to the bench. Obi Toppin's going to get this one. 8 points in 12 minutes. He shoots 3 out of 4 overall, 2 of 3 from 3. He had the 1 triple early fourth quarter when the game was getting out of hand, and it looked like it was about to be a Clippers blowout. Knocks down the corner triple, so I thought that was a pretty big one. Kind of shifted the momentum a little bit, and the Knicks found some life afterwards. Thought he was good. Thought maybe he could have gotten some more minutes, but we know how that goes. He's a 10 minutes player. And that's it. That is it, folks. That's it. It's another bad loss. We get too many of these, but hopefully it helps us in the long run grow and experience. But this team just isn't that good. They have average talent, and we should worry about a superstar and not the head coach. Right? Get with reality, zoom out, and see that. Because other fan bases are probably laughing at some of you who treat Tibbs like he's Fizdale. Cam like he's LeBron. Obi like he's prime Sean Kemp. It's embarrassing. It really is. There's a bottom line here, and it's exactly that. It's that stars win. Let's wrap this up. All right, so episode 475, our trivia. Patrick Ewing is the Knicks' all-time leader with 135 postseason games played. Who is second with 113? Patrick Ewing is the Knicks' all-time leader with 135 postseason games played. Who is second with 113? One last time, Patrick Ewing is the Knicks' all-time leader with 135 postseason games played. Who is second with 113? That's it, guys. Let me know the answer. If you get it correct, I'll give you a shout-out. And I'm wrapping this episode up early. I'm tired. Mentally and physically. Tired. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.